So today's discussion, we will be covering these things like the 6 seasons which prevailing in our Indian subcontinent and how it is divided across an year. And during this season, what is the status of the dosha? That is the functional, basic functional units as per Ayurveda, the functional units of body as per Ayurveda, and what are the environmental peculiarities and how they are affecting the bodily strength, that is bala, and rasa constituency, that is the taste, how it is affecting the bala as well. So these things we will be dealing according to each seasons, and what are the do's and don'ts in each season in respect to the diet as well as the activities, and another concept of Ritu-Santi. So these are the things we will be discussing today. So as most of you might be knowing, these are the 6 Ritus with what we bless, like Shishira, Vasanta, Grishma, Varsha, Sharat and Hemanta. These 6 Ritus are what we are getting in Indian subcontinent. So here, one Samvatsara, that is an year is divided into 2 ayanas. That is Uttarayana, that's also called as Adhanakala, and Dakshinayana, which is also called as Visargakala. So under each ayana is having a period of 6 months. And each ayana consists of 3 Ritus or 3 seasons, and the duration of each season is approximately about 2 months. So under Uttarayana, here it comes Shishira, Vasanta and Grishma Ritus, and under Dakshinayana, here comes the Varsha, Sharat and Hemanta seasons. So this is how the 6 Ritus are designed across a period of year. So the Shishira, which starts from mid of January till mid of March, and Vasanta from mid-March to mid-May, and mid-May to mid-July it is Grishma, that is summer, and the monsoon starts from mid-July and it extends till September, mid-September, where we are at present, and the autumn, which extends from mid-September to mid-November, and the early winter, which extends from mid-November till mid-January. This is how the 6 seasons are designed across an year. So there are variations according to the geographical areas, but approximately this is how it is considered. And before going detail into each seasons, we will see what are the peculiarities of this Uttarayana as well as Dakshinayana period. So Uttarayana is told as the Agneya Kala. Why? Because during this period, like early winter, spring and summer are the seasons which are coming under this Uttarayana. Here the sun will be dominant than the moon. So here, as the sun is dominant, the Agneya Bhava, that is the heat factor or the fire factor, would be more during these seasons, and it gradually takes away the Saumya Bhava, that is the soft, or else and it dries up. Actually, what it does is it dries up the living organisms. So what happens is gradually all the living organisms loosens their strength during this season. Just opposite to it, during the Dakshinayana Kala, where the moon is dominant and the sun is dormant. So the moon is Saumya Bhava basically, and this moon starts nourishing back. So it starts nourishing back the living organisms during this period, and gradually the bala or the strength of the organisms gradually increases. So if you are seeing here, moving from the late winter to the summer, the strength of the person gradually decreases, and from the rainy season to the early winter, again it increases gradually, and at early winter the strength will be at the optimum or the maximum. So the bodily strength can be told like this. So the bala, sharira bala, or the bodily strength will be optimum or superior during the Hemanta and Shishira, that is during the winter period, and it will be medium during Sharat and Vasanta, spring and autumn season, and it will be inferior during the summer as well as rainy season. That is the reason why the summer born as well as the rainy season, monsoon born diseases are more, they are getting affected with it. So before going detail into each Ritu, we should know some more things like the relation between the seasons and tridoshas. Tridoshas are the functional units of the body as per Ayurveda. And each dosha is following a specific pattern of chaya, that is an accumulation, prakopa, that is an aggravation, and subsiding in a systematic manner, gradually it increases from its side, then it's go to an accumulation stage and then subsides in a particular manner. So this is how the season and tridoshas are related. So that has to be kept in mind, because on the basis of this accumulation and aggravation of dosha, we will select the diets as well as the therapeutics according in specific to the season. And one more thing is the relation between the taste and doshas. So again, Ayurveda says there are 6 different tastes like sweet, sour, salt, pungent, bitter and astringent. Out of which the sweet, sour and salt taste have an action to reduce the vata dosha. Astringent, bitter and sweet is having an action to reduce the pitta dosha. And pungent, bitter and astringent taste in the sense the foods which are possessing these tastes are having an action to reduce the kapha dosha by nature. So based on these 2 things, we will be seeing the specific diet patterns that has to be followed during a particular season. So with this, we will move to the individual seasons. So first we will see the spring. So here, as I told, we will be seeing what is the status of the dosha during this season and what about the bala. So here, the Vasanta Ritu or the season of spring, there will be the dosha called kapha will be in an accumulative state. And the bala of the person will be moderate during this state, and the Agni will be in Mandavastha, that means in a mild state. Agni in the sense, the digestive capacity of the person. These 3 key things should be kept in mind. So as it is a season with the vitiation or the aggravation of kapha dosha, some therapeutic measures like emesis, vamana, and instillation of nasal medications, and the procedures such as gargling and smoking of medicated fumes and application of collyriums are suggested during this season. These are told in order to subside the aggravated kapha. So here, then some specific activities such as vyayama, that is exercise, and warm water bath, and followed with the application of some medicated lepas, that is paste which is made up of sandal, saffron and camphor is suggested. All these are helping, that is exercise, of course it helps to reduce the kapha dosha, that is why specifically it is explained during this season. And the day sleep is totally contraindicated during the spring. Then we will have a look into the foods which are indicated during this season. So here, while seeing the food items, the things what we should keep in mind is that it is like what the diet which I am telling here. Other than that, so many things can be taken during this season. But why I am so particular is these maximum we should try to include these items during this particular season. So the diets which possess bitter taste, astringent taste, pungent taste, which are easy to digest, we should select during this season. Why? Because our digestive capacity is moderate or mild during the season, so it should be easily digestible foods we should select. For that, from cereals we can take old barley, wheat and rice. From lentil, green gram and red gram as pulses. Then vegetables or some dishes made with snake gourd, brinjal, elephantia, coriander, methi can be used. Why? Because these are having a potency to reduce the kapha dosha. They will help to increase our digestive capacity. Similarly, coming to the drinks, mild fermented beverages, alcoholic beverages are suggested in Hemantacharya. Similarly, honey mixed with water or honey acid is suggested during this season as it reduces the kapha, and the water which is processed with shunti or chandana is also good during this season. And the food items like ragi, the food items made with ragi, which is made with coriander, some khichadis which are processed with pepper and shundi, ginger pickle, and the rasam, which is processed with shundi, pepper, as well as uh, pepper can be used as an appetizer. So this will function in both ways. It will reduce the kapha dosha. At the same time, it will improve our appetite. So similarly, as I told, as our digestive capacity will be less, so we should say no to the food items which are heavy to digest. Like Navadhanya, what is told in Ayurveda. That means a grain, newly harvested grains are told as heavy to digest. If it is 1 year old, it is like easy to digest. And the curd, of course, we should avoid during the season, which is heavy to digest. And the cold drinks, of course, it can increase the kapha, so it should be avoided. Then our Nugen products like Nugen food items, junk food, all the things are heavy to digest. It's better to avoid or reduce the intake, frequency of intake during this season. Then coming to the next summer season. So here the condition of dosha is, this is a stage where the vata dosha starts accumulating. It is not aggravated, it starts accumulating. And the bala, of course, it is a summer season. The sun will be dominant during this season, and the body strength of the person will be, of course, compromised, and the digestive capacity also will be less. And here, looking at the activities, Divasopna, that is day sleep, is encouraged here. Why? Because during this summer season, the length of the day will be more, and moreover, there will be the increase of vata in the body. And day sleep is something which will increase kapha dosha and which will subside vata. So day sleep is indicated here. And among all the 6 ritus, only in Grishma, that is summer season, the day sleep is suggested for a healthy individual. Condition is applied for a healthy individual. Day sleep is indicated only during summer season. And then then it also says that during, if it is extreme summer, we should go and stay in gardens. Okay, gardens with lot of plants, if you are staying, that is very good for your health, and you should maximum try to use cold water for taking bath and other purposes. And the application of aromatic paste is also encouraged during this season. And wearing of the light dresses, not with so much of tight jeans type of dresses, that all those things to be avoided. And the exposure to sunlight and the excessive physical, all kind of excessive physical exertions are contraindicated during this season. Looking into the foods which are sweet in taste, which are having added with oil or some ghee or oil into it, which are liquid, which contains more of water in it, and which are cold in properties, are to be encouraged during this season. Why? Because there is a chance of dehydration. So for that, during this particular charya, a lot of liquid items are suggested in our classics. So here again, the cereals, you will see actually the rice, wheat, barley, these things are our staple foods of our Indian continent. So these will be there in almost all ritus. We will be taking all these things. And coming to the pulses, it is better to avoid the Bengal gram, garden pea and cowpea, because these are having a property to increase vata dosha in the body. So it may lead to like indigestion or abdominal bloating or constipation. These kind of issues can be developed. So it is better to avoid these pulses. And the vegetables such as ashgad, drumstick, and carrot, which are good, which contains good number of, which enough quantity of water, can be taken during this season. And coming to the drinks, especially the water which is stored in earthen pot can be taken, buttermilk, fruit juices which are available during the seasonal fruit juices can be taken, and the curd which is processed with pepper. Such preparations are called rasala and raga, that in that we will be adding some more fruits like which are having sour taste like mango and all. We will be making it into a drink. So all those things are advised. And panaka is another kind of preparation where we will be mixing honey, sugar to water. Along with that, the draksha, that is dried grapes as well as dates into it, and all these are really it is very good rehydrating property all these are having. And the intake of coconut water, milk with sugar candy at bedtime, all these are encouraged. And coming to the food items, the foods which are made of rice flour, which are steamed foods, are highly encouraged as they will digest very easily. And the upma, coconut, as well as the chutneys made with coconut and groundnut, which also found to having a vatahara property. And coming to the soup, like meat soups can be advised during this season because that improves the digestive power, and it is easy to digest. At the same time, it will give strength to the person. So hence the use of meat soup by adding ghee and some appetizer like pepper and all is appreciated during this season. Then the foods which are having salty, pungent and deep fried foods which are heavy for digestion are commonly contraindicated during this season, and which are the foods which are having salted, like which are having these packet foods like Lay's, Kurkure, all these things are deep fried items that is going to ultimately going to increase the vata in the body, so that can be avoided during this season. And the intake of alcoholic beverages is also rejected during this season. Next is the rainy season, where we are exactly now. So this season, where from summer to when we will come to the rainy season, the vata will start aggravating. So in Grishma, in summer it will be accumulating. From there, when it comes to Varsha Ritu, the dosha start aggravating, and again the person's bala will be alpa, the minimal, as well as the digestive capacity also will be less. So in this season, some therapeutic measures, as I told earlier, we can go for medicated enema, emesis, and medicated purgation kind of therapies, and oil massage with oil massage followed by warm water bath is advised during this season. And the use of footwear is also advised, so that even inside the room also, if you are wearing footwear, means you can avoid the touch with the floor. Again, the touch with the floor will, you are exposing to the coldness of the floor. That coldness can ultimately increase the vata in the body again, which can lead to some sort of joint pain, sickness, and all kind of symptoms. So the use of footwear is also suggested. And the contraindications during this season is, again, getting exposed with the rain. Day sleep is contraindicated, and exercise, severe exercise and the exertions are also contraindicated. Coming to the diet. So the diet which are having sweet, sour, which are easy to digest, and which are having oiliness in it, like added with oil or ghee, is highly recommended during this season. And coming to the pulses, again, the Bengal gram, which can increase the vata in the body, should be avoided. Green gram is highly recommended, and even black gram, which subsides the vata dosha, that also recommended, even though it is bit heavy to digest. Green gram is a pulse which we can take in all the seasons, which is told as the best among the pulses as per Ayurveda. So that can be taken across the season. From the vegetables, you can see like ashgad, methi, cucumber, gooseberry, ginger, all these things you can add to your diet. The buttermilk processed with panchakola, it is a Ayurvedic combination of medicament which is used as an appetizer. So the buttermilk processed with that can be used during this time. The grape juice, grape wine are recommended. Herbal teas you can take during this season. And the Shadangadoya is again another formulation told in Ayurveda. And the water with honey is also suggested. And as the body, strength of the body as well as the digestive capacity is very less, it is highly recommended to go for rice gruels during this season. Rice gruels can be processed with some other like leafy vegetables as well as some appetizer like ginger and all. Similarly, we can go for vegetable soups and meat soups. Again, the contraindicated food items, what all the foods which are hard to digest should be avoided. So almost all the like non-vegetarian foods should be avoided. Better to avoid or reduce the frequency during this season. And the junk foods are best to avoid during this season. and the deep fried crispy items are of course going to increase the vata in the body. So these can be also kept aside from, especially from the kids during this rainy season. Then coming to the Sharad Ritu, autumn season. So this is the season where the Pitta dosha in the body get aggravated. So here, this season, as we told in the beginning, the person will be having a moderate strength of the body, and as the Pitta increases, there is Agni Bala, that is the digestive capacity will be very good. So here, as there is a aggravation of Pitta dosha, so medicated purgation by administering some medicated ghees is highly recommended during this season. So normally there is a practice in Kerala, before the starting of the season, they used to take seasonal purgation so that the various ailments or some disorders which can arise because of Pitta dosha during this season, especially some skin related issues, can be avoided by this practice. And then some coming to the activities, when you will feel hungry, that time you should take the meal, and the wearing of certain garlands, flower garlands, and the application of certain fragrant paste also recommended, because the paste which is made up of chandra and all basically called in potency, that can reduce the bodily heat. And the day sleep, excessive eating, and excessive exposure to sunlight all are contraindicated during this season. And coming to the foods indicated, here the foods which are having the taste sweet, bitter, and astringent are highly recommended. So coming to the pulses, it is better to avoid horse gram, because horse gram is having a tendency to increase the pitta in the body, and that can ultimately cause some gastric irritation and burning chest and all. So that can be avoided. And the vegetables, basically those vegetables which grows in a creeper type of vegetables, we can select, like the brinjal, ashgard, gooseberry, snake gourd, bitter gourd, etc. Among this, like ashgard, snake gourd, bitter gourd kind of vegetables are highly recommended during this season, because it subsides pitta considerably. And the foods which possess spicy, too much spicy, salty foods are supposed to be avoided during this season, because this can again increase the pitta. Already during this season, the pitta will be increased. Again, they in turn increase the pitta dosha, so that can be avoided. The use of alcoholic beverages also should be avoided during this season. The intake of curd, oil, and other fermented foods are also contraindicated. Then moving to the winter season. So in winter, there will be the accumulation of kapha dosha. So kapha will be start accumulating during this season. And winter season is the season where the person will be having very good Agni Bala, that is the digestive capacity, as well as the bodily strength. So this is the season where you can eat whatever you want. In the sense, condition applied, some wholesome diets and practices you can follow over here. So you can go for some, like the foods which are having sweet, sour, and heavy, which are having a very good calorie value. All these things you can better choose for these seasons. So here, like among the cereals, the new rice, that is the Navadhanya, which I explained earlier, is suggested here, which is normally heavy to digest, which can be taken here. And among the pulses, again, which will increase the Vata dosha, it is always better to avoid those things, because they can produce a lot of gastric disturbances, even in some other reasons, not only in the summer or rainy season. At any season, they can cause some or the other kind of gastric disturbances. So you have to keep an eye on those kind of items. And among the vegetables, elephant yam, pudina, ginger, garlic, and brinjal are suggested during this season. And the food items, you can go for the foods which are having like nimbu rice, tamarind rice, ghee rice, curd rice, all sort of foods like curd rice, which is actually very heavy to digest. These kind of foods can be you can go for these kind of food items in this season. And the meat, milk products, jaggery, oil, the sugarcane products, and madhu is also suggested during the season. Madhu can be taken by madhu in the sense honey. Honey can be taken by because it will subside the accumulated kapha. And rest of the things can be taken by because you are having a very good digestive capacity. So this can be taken, it will get digested. Then coming to the contraindication, the vata aggravating foods, what we explained under the Grishma as well as that is summer as well as the rainy season should be avoided during this season. So as the bodily strength of the person is very high during the winter, he can go for body massages with Vadahara Tailya, and the Vyayama is also highly recommended. Even the massage with the food is also recommended during this season, and he can take the better go for taking a hot water bath always, and warm water is suggested for all other purposes. And exposure to the extreme cold wind as well as the climate is supposed to be avoided during this season. Why? Because even though it is a climate where kapha dosha start accumulating, the extreme exposure to the cold can increase the vata dosha also. So better you can avoid this kind of exposure, and again the day sleep is also avoided here. Then coming to the sixth ritu, that is Shishira, that is the late winter season. Here the kapha sanchaya happens. So here then so Hemanta and Shishira ritu we takes together as the winter season. So here again the bodily strength of the person is good. It is a mistake in the slide. Bodily strength of the person is good, and the Agni Bala, that is the digestive capacity, is also very good during this season. So he can follow all the regimens which are told during that of the early winter period. The same he can follow. As the cold is bit more compared to the early winter, so there will be the involvement of vata also. So that has to be kept in mind. And the use of ginger, garlic, haritaki, that is Terminalia chibula, and pippali, fruits of piperlongum, is also specially recommended during this season. This is in regard of all 6 ritus in short. So I not listed all the food items here because almost all the food items what we are taking across the seasons can be continued in all the ritus. Only thing is we have to modify or we have to make some additions or deletions according to the season in that particular food. So next is the concept of Ritu Sandhi, what is explained in Ayurveda, that we will see. So Ritu Sandhi, as the name suggests, it is a junction of 2 ritus. It is a total period of 14 days where the last 7 days of the present ritu what is running and the first 7 days of the coming ritu is together we called as Ritu Sandhi. Then what is the importance of knowing this Ritu Sandhi is, for example, so we are running through Varsha Ritu and we will be going into the autumn season next. So we are having a set of regimens we are practicing in these 2 months of Varsha Ritu. And when we will move into the Sharat Ritu, we have to leave those practices and gradually we have to take over the practices which is told for Sharat Ritu. All of a sudden, if you are leaving all the regimens or the food habits of Varsha Ritu and we are directly jumping into that of Sharat Ritu, means there can be some disturbances in your internal environment of the doshas as well as in our digestive functions as well as the bodily functions we can see. So the concept of Ritu Sandhi is that we have to leave the practices which we were doing since in the last Ritu gradually, and then we have to take over the regimens which are told for the next Ritu subsequently. And why we should bother about this Ritucharya is, as we discussed about the in the last session regarding the Dinacharya, similarly, if we are following the specific season related activities, the internal environmental of our bodily doshas stays stable. So whenever the season changes, there will be like changes in heat or cold or the wind or the dryness. Some changes are happening around us. So these changes can influence our body also. So if our internal environment, we are not adapting accordingly. Okay. So if, for example, externally the cold is extremely getting more and more, and that is making the internal environment, the cold increasing, means there is a chance of increase of vata in the body. So we are doing all the regimens or the food habits which again will increase vata, means that is ultimately going to lead into some diseases of vata origin. So that can lead into dosha vaishimya, and it can finally end up in the manifestation of various diseases. So that can be avoided by following the proper Ritucharya. So with this concluding, so Ritucharya and Dinacharya, this is a practice what will help us to keep our internal environments balanced. So if that balance can be maintained, we can come up with a very good immune mechanism. So our immune mechanism holds good. Of course, the chances of getting affected by the seasonal illnesses are very less. And also it enables us to build a physical strength as well as mental capability to battle the ailments due to climatic changes. So even in this COVID scenario, there is the basic things what we have to follow is, of course, the social distancing, mask, and the use of hand wash or hand sanitizer is the main thing what we have to follow. This is not only for this COVID scenario, this is across the year or across our lifetime. This the practice of Dinacharya and Ritucharya we can follow, that will ensure us a very good maintained immune system, so that we won't be get afflicted with the seasonal illnesses and all so easily. So this I would like to conclude. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Santosh. So, yes, we will be sharing the video soon, but if there are any questions that you want to ask Dr. Santosh regarding any of the practices that he has mentioned for the Ritucharya, can we put on for a person who is having some imbalance in dosha, does it mean in one season he will be okay and in another he will experience some issue?
For a person who is having some imbalance in dosha, does it mean?
Like if he's a vata dosha, he has some vitiation in the vata dosha, yes. Is it like he'll be better in one season and where he'll worsen in other?
No, it is like season influences dosha. That is one thing. Another thing I told is the taste, the taste of the food also influences dosha. Similarly, the prakriti of the person, the body type of the person is also matters. There are so many variables which affects the dosha also. So all these factors matters. So in one particular season, there is aggravation of vata dosha. That doesn't mean that in the next season he will suffer with some sort of diseases. If he is following some regimens or he is making some changes in his diet patterns, of course that will come down. Or else if he is continuing the same thing, for example, this is Varsha Ritu, normally the vata will be aggravated in the body, and the person is continuing with the diet and the practices which will increase vata, of course he will suffer from some sort of disease because of vata origin in the coming season. It's not like that vata won't affect that person in the next Ritu. Of course vata can make problems to cause problems to him in the coming seasons.
Which oil should be used for massage?
Actually,
if you have attended the last presentation, I think in Dinacharya they've mentioned that
No, not because of that. I get like some medicaments we should not tell during the session. It was an advice.
Okay, so generally, if a person, for a healthy person, you can.
Yeah, for a healthy person means you can go for the best thing is sesame oil. Sesame oil you can take, and for it depends. Like if it is a disease associated, and again his prakriti is also considered, then it changes. If you are healthy, no any issues, just you want to go for a massage, then you can go for sesame oil. That is the best option.
Olive oil can be used in cooking, is a question.
Normally, we don't suggest for cooking. You can go for so many other oil like sunflower oil and all. It is also as good as olive oil that you can. Normally, we doesn't suggest. However, it is costly too.
So, does Ayurveda give importance on the native food or locally cultivated food? Does that have impact on the doshas of that particular region? Like if we are from Indian continent, this Asian continent.
Yeah.
So the native food that we have, so that has an influence on how our doshas function, or it doesn't matter if it is across continents, if you have different cuisines of food.
Okay. So as per Ayurveda, like not only our native foods, all the foods are having an influence over the dosha. So we cannot say that, of course, our native foods will be more getting adjustable with our like body constitution, but I cannot say that only they are having an influence over the dosha. Of course, all the food items.
Yeah. So are they more beneficial, or your body is better adaptable to?
Of course. If you are staying in an Indian continent, then of course the foods and the regimens which is suiting to our continent will be better adjusted with our body.
Okay, so it's better that we have local varieties of oil like the sesame or coconut, groundnut.
Yes. That can be appreciated. And regarding in concern with the diet also, that is more applicable.
So can a person experience aggravation of two different doshas in two different functions of the body at the same time?
Yes. It's a very good question. Like it is like, for example, I will tell you in specific to disease you asked, right? So the Vata dosha normally with the example of the present season is concerned. So in this present season, there is an aggravation of Vata. So the Vata dosha can make problem with your digestive tract. Okay. If you are taking too much of foods that can increase the Vata in your body, of course, it can cause some sort of digestive disturbances like abdominal bloating or constipation or diarrhea or something like that. So at the same time, if you are getting exposed, like for example, like if that may be your job or something like that, if you are getting exposed with too much of heat on the other side, that heat is again going to make a problem with your pitta in the body. So the pitta dosha can get vitiated and it can create some sort of diseases of pitta. Like most of the disease, like it can go into some sort of diseases, skin diseases and all. Or if you are at the same time you are started eating too much spicy items. So basically, if you are a person with a pitta body type, again during the same time you can have some acid peptic diseases. So in your lower, large intestine, part of large intestine, you will be like developing constipation because of Vata dosha, and at the area of your stomach, so there you will be feeling some the problems like acid peptic disorders because of Pitta dosha. So it can happen.
The next question is, how can immunity be improved in people having low immunity?
This is mainly what we can say is follow a very good dietary pattern. Okay. So the less immunity, how we will be assessing, by we will be assessed with his health status, present health status. Okay. So there, what are his problems? He will be having some problems related with his digestion, or else he will be having getting recurrent respiratory tract issues, or cough and cold. Monthly he is getting, twice he is getting some fever. These kind of issues will be there. So we have to assess it initially. Then we will start from Ayurvedic point of view. If you are seeing means, first thing to improve the immunity, what we have to do is we have to correct the digestive fire of the person. That is what Agni. From my beginning of the presentation till end, I was repeatedly saying that word Agni. So that has to be corrected. So as per Ayurveda, if your digestion is proper, then only your the further metabolism, absorption, and your the growth of the body tissue, even your immunity also will be improved with that. Okay. So the concept of immunity is told as ojas in Ayurveda. Ojas is an end product of all the saptadhatus. Saptadhatus are the bodily tissues. That bodily tissues are nourished by the essence which we are getting after the digestion. So all it starts from digestion. Okay, and then once the digestion is corrected, we can go for some other dietary supplements as well as medicinal supplements to improve the immunity.
I think this is the last question. Can dry fruits be consumed in all the seasons?
Dry fruits you can take, because by considering its fiber contents and all, you can go for taking dry fruits. It's not a problem. And it is better if you are avoiding those things during this summer as well as the rainy season. You can take, there is no issue. Like we will not be taking dry fruits as it like a meal. Okay, so we will be taking few. So you can take across the season. If you are taking too much, some kids will be there, they will be eating one packet of dry fruits at a time. If such a habit is there, ask them better not to do during the summer as well as rainy season.
Next question is, what do we do if there are two imbalances? I think this is a continuation for the previous question. If there are actually two imbalances, then how do we correct?
What do we do when two different
so
imbalances?
Probably,
yeah, with an example she is asking. Right?
Yeah.
My mother has increased joint pains but prone to cold and cough. Okay, so that is what. So here in Ayurvedic approaches a disease in two ways. We can treat a disease with Shamana Aushadhis, that is internal medications, and by doing some external therapies. Okay, so here the joint pains, where exactly it is, this doesn't not mention. Okay, so the cold and cough, of course, we will when we will see a cold and cough in Ayurvedic view, we will be see whether it is a Vata type of cold and cough, Pitta type of cold and cough, Kapha type of cold and cough. And again, coming to joint pains, most of the cases we will see it as either of Vata type or Kapha type or Vata Kapha type. Okay, and we have a number of medicines which can subside both Vata and Kapha. Okay, so we can go for such internal medication which can subside both the doshas at a time. It is not only about medicines I am telling. Even some food items which I told here, even like the vegetables like brinjal, it acts as a both vata as well as kapha hara. It can reduce both vata and kapha in the body. So similar way, we are having medications which can subside both the doshas simultaneously. That kind of medications can be given. Suppose if the cough and cold is of like kapha origin, because it is in the head and neck region, so it can be of kapha origin, and the joint related problem is a purely vata origin, as it is her mom. So that can be a vata origin. Then we can go for regional vatahara therapies. We can go. Okay, the joint related area, we can go for some oil applications. There are so many therapies which can be done on the regional part only. So that way also we can treat. So this both the approaches can be
done. From Nadi, can we assess doshas?
Yeah, it is. There is a reference for Nadi Parisha in Sharangadhara Samhita. It is one of the textbook in Ayurveda. So it is actually a practice based on we will be touching our this region with our 3 fingers, and then based on the pulsation on which finger we are getting, there are specific signs are told. Specific signs are told. If the nadi is moving like a frog, then it is Vataja. If it is moving like a crow, it is Pittaja. If it is moving like so, if it is moving very feeble and if it is moving very slowly, that is Kafaja. Like that, specific lakshanas have been told. Like that, we can do.
So it is possible to assess doshas through nadi.
Nadi. Yeah.
So I think then that is all we have. Yeah. So there was one more question. Can salads which are uncooked be had along with cooked food anytime to avoid salads? So cooked and uncooked can be mixed?
That again depends. If there are some specific viruddhaharas are told in Ayurveda, if it is falling under that category, means then only we have to think. But normally the salads what we prepare, it is not having such viruddha aharas in that, so you can take it, no issues with that.
So thanks a lot, Dr. Santosh, for your time and wonderful presentation. Thank you everyone to join us today. So we hope to see you again next Saturday with a different Ayurveda expert on a different topic. So till then, have a happy weekend and a good day ahead. Thank you.